Yo, what up, a-holes? Thank you for tuning in to the Holistic A-Hole podcast. My name is Eric Levi, and I'm the Holistic A-Hole. How in the hell are you doing today? Wherever you are, whenever you're listening to this, I hope you're having a great day, a great night, a great drive to work, a great day at work, a great time cleaning or just lounging or whatever you're doing while you're listening to this. I hope it's going well. And even if it's not, just know that in the universe, we're such a tiny, teeny, little itsy bitsy speck of really nothing. So even if the sun isn't shining on you today or you feel a little down, just know it doesn't fucking matter. And maybe that might cheer you up. But I am happy that you chose this podcast to listen to over all the other ones that you could be listening to, because this one is by far the most informative, the most enjoyable. And if it's your first time listening to the Holistic A-Hole podcast, first of all, welcome. And second of all, take a second and hit the subscribe button. Whether it's on your phone, your computer, your iPad, whatever it is, whatever you're listening to this on, Apple, iTunes, Podcasts, Stitcher, Castbox, Spotify, wherever you're finding this, hit the subscribe button so that the podcast could pop into your player every Tuesday and Friday when they get released. And then sometimes we have some bonus episodes that pop out. Also, if you're a returning listener, thank you for coming back, spreading the word to your friends, and just generally being a supporter of the Holistic A-Hole message. Also, if you're looking for a little extra holistic entertainment, pop on over to the Holistic A-Hole YouTube page, where I am now uploading more videos. To be honest with you, the Holistic A-Hole brand started on YouTube and then took about a 9-month break from making videos, and now we're back on there. We got the Vegan Trump Supporter videos, and then now releasing the Paleo Hacks series on YouTube. And there's going to be a lot more that I'm going to put there on YouTube. We're going to have some interviews with people, some sketch collaborations. Maybe I might do like some Alex Jones style, just me in my room, just hashing out the truth style of videos. Really, what I love about YouTube is it's you can do a lot of shit on there, and it's my preferred social media outlet. So if you haven't yet done this, go to the Holistic A-Hole YouTube channel, subscribe, because that's where a lot of the best content is going to be. Then there's also podcasts on there. And then go to Facebook, Holistic A-Hole, Twitter at Holistic A-Hole, Instagram, Holistic_A_hole. If you really want to make my day, screenshot the podcast playing right there in your phone and then upload it to your Instagram story or your Instagram feed, and then tag me at holistic_A_hole. Say a nice little message. Say you're loving the podcast, you hate the podcast, whatever it is. Complain about how it takes too long to get through all the plugs, but that's the most important part of the podcast. No, it's not. The information you're getting is the most important part of the podcast. And today, what we're going to talk about is, I'd say, something that actually is what got me interested in the first place into really being a holistic a-hole, which is your brain, kid. Your brain, your functions in your brain. You know, how you thinking, how you feeling, how you doing. Brain fog. Now, this is kind of I would just go out there and say a relatively new thing that people are talking about. I started learning about brain fog a couple years ago when my holistic a-hole metamorphosis started happening, and I find it to be an absolutely true, undeniable phenomenon that it's like when you talk to somebody who's not really educated about health, You can tell them all about all this stuff. Everybody disagrees about something like cholesterol or specific diets, fats, carbs, protein. But I think one thing that across the board we can all agree on is that if you're not eating the right diet or having the right lifestyle, you just have those days where you just kind of feel shitty. Not to say you feel like shit, like let's say you're hungover or you're, injured. Brain fog is a very subtle symptom that that can really affect you in negative ways, man. I would say for years I quote unquote suffered with brain fog. I definitely experienced it. When I spent fucking 8 hours a day in a goddamn office doing work that I just hated. It just would throw the rhythm of my whole day off. Getting up early, sitting in rush hour traffic, going to the job, going to the office, the lighting in the office, the gross furniture and the fucking dusty carpeting, and then just the overall just lack of enthusiasm of anybody in this office. Just very pessimistic situation. And like a lot of other people, I found my saving grace, I guess, in food. I remember because things like candy are around the office always. Probably because it's like eating like a little miniature Snickers bar is the only thing that keeps you from fucking, just either crying or fucking yelling at everybody or doing even worse, right? So you eat some Skittles, you eat some M&Ms. You go to the office. These ladies, they have jars of M&Ms or jars of little miniature Snickers bars and Butterfingers and lollipops and all this stuff, right? And I remember I just had a drawer in my desk that was just filled with fucking candy. Like every day was Halloween. It was just just over the couple years or whatever that I just worked there, just compiling from potlucks and birthday parties and Christmases and St. Patrick's Days and all these holidays, and people bring candy and just going and just grabbing candy and just not being an animal and eating it all right there on the spot, but knowing that there's going to be non-holiday days coming up, so I better stock up for the winter. I got to stock up for the winter. Make my harvest now when it's good. Christmas time, there's candy around all day, every day. Birthday parties, people are just throwing candy around. Somebody gets a promotion, or if it's somebody's leaving, or whatever it is, there's just always candy around. So I would just go and just stockpile candy, put that fucking shit in my desk drawer, and then whenever I felt sad, which was usually at least 4 or 5 times a day, open up the drawer, pull out a little piece of candy and eat it. And then you get that little shot of dopamine, feeling good. You get the dopamine from the sugar. You get the dopamine from the I think from the, what is it? Maybe like the victory of the hunt. Some satisfaction from knowing that I hunted for this candy and it was in my desk drawer, and I opened my desk drawer and boom, there it was. It's the same feeling that a Homo erectus must have felt when he found himself a gazelle running through the tundra, and then snagged it with a spear. It must be that same feeling, right? But then immediately after, you start to feel tired, you start to feel kind of shitty, and it just wears you down. And why is that, right? What is the deal with sugar and all this stuff? It creates this kind of this thing of like brain fog, right? that word again, brain fog. What the hell is brain fog? I don't think it's an actual technical medical term. It's just kind of like a descriptor of a symptom that we feel, where it's like you wake up one day and you just don't really feel with it. You feel kind of like oh yeah, I got off track with the candy. I was talking about going to work. This is where I experienced brain fog. So I mean, it's like you just kind of feel just kind of down, just kind of out of it. I think maybe that's the most probably apropos way of describing it. Just feel out of it. Again, the office is the perfect setting for it. You walk around, everyone, how you doing today? Oh, I'm just tired. How you doing today? Man, I'm just tired. Monday, how you doing today? Just tired. It's a long weekend. Really? Because it's Wednesday, and it hasn't even been the weekend. You've had 3 days to recover from the weekend, and you're still exhausted from the weekend. That's brain fog, And it just wears you down over time. And like, what is brain fog? Essentially what it is it's inflammation. It's the I guess the visual, visceral embodiment of inflammation. It's like you hear that word inflammation tossed around a lot too. What is inflammation? It's just kind of like, it's when your body's immune system is attacking, other parts of your body. When your body's essentially attacking itself, it's trying to repair, but it's just completely off cue. It's like the train has gone off the tracks, and now you're getting inflammation. You start to get these little pains in your knee and your back. Maybe you start getting cold and flu-like symptoms, brain fog, just feeling tired all the time. People call this like adrenal fatigue syndrome, chronic fatigue syndrome. People call it adrenal fatigue, brain fog. All these different words are all basically describing the same thing, inflammation. And so where does inflammation even come from? Well, I mean, diet, that's, probably the biggest, most mainstream thing. If your diet sucks, then you're going to experience this inflammation. You're going to experience brain fog, Like I eat clean most of the week, right? Eat clean as in, mostly vegan, a little bit of animal here and there, even like I'm talking like maybe go weeks without eating any animal. But mostly vegan, mostly vegetables and fruits and healthy whole grains and no dairy, none of that stuff, and very, 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 very low oil. But then and I feel good, I feel crisp most of the time, but there'll be those nights me and the lovely Miss A-hole will go out for a date night, or I'll be out doing a show or doing whatever, and then, maybe have a drink, maybe might be out, might go out to eat something, might grab, a bite to eat on the street, might eat some, fucking, high breaded whatever, some fried garbage, some, high fructose corn syrup, whatever it is, whatever is outside of my normal clean eating regimen. And then I'll wake up the next day and it's like, dude, I feel like that shit again, where that same feeling of having to go to the office and it's like sitting in rush hour, like it all just crashes back into my brain. It's that same feeling. But luckily I don't have to do that stuff anymore. But it's like, where does that come from? It comes from the inflammation. I feel it immediately, when you have a meal and you get done with it and you just have that real heavy feeling, that heavy, fatty, oily feeling, or, when you eat something with just tons of sugar, if you eat like ice cream or birthday cake or, a Slurpee or whatever, just straight up candy, it's like you get that kind of just drowsy feeling, that real heavy feeling, right? Brain fog, inflammation, that's where it all comes from. And it was amazing to me, because to me, and I know this is the problem for a lot of people, which is at some point your diet is just so bad that, and it's bad day after day, time after time. It's like you're not even thinking about you think you're doing health, you think you're eating healthy, but you're not. You're eating lean cuisine, and you're getting this fucking crazy ass message that or you're eating these protein bars that are just loaded with sugar and all kinds of fucking chemicals and stuff, and you think you're eating clean, but you're just eating like garbage, and you're experiencing brain fog, but you don't know it's brain fog. You're just like, well, I just guess that I'm just constantly, I just feel drowsy all the time. You try to sleep it off with a nap, and then you nap for like 2 hours, and you wake up and you're still tired. You wake up in the morning after 8 hours, you're still tired. It's like you start feeling, it starts to lead to depression. All this is brain fog. All this is that inflammation, that low level inflammation, but you don't notice it because it's just your everyday MO. But then you have those days, like if you take a day and you fast, or you start intermittent fasting, or you just are like, I'm just gonna be vegan for a week, and then you just eat clean, or you go, I'm not gonna be vegan, I'll be whatever. I don't want to say keto. I think keto's garbage, paleo's garbage. But you're like, I'll eat clean. I'll eat like one serving of meat a day. The rest of it's just going to be straight up fruits and vegetables and healthy grains. And then maybe I'll have like a grass-fed fucking quarter ounce, like 3 ounce burger or something like that, or 4 ounce steak or whatever, a little turkey burger, whatever it is, I'm not saying that's like good or anything, but I'm saying like knowing that most people who probably listen to this might not be vegan. I don't want to sound like I'm pushing vegan ways on you, because even myself, I'm not vegan, but I just use it as the baseline to say, if you're looking for a very healthy way to eat, I don't really see anything that even comes close to being vegan. But if you eat, just whole foods, and then you do that, day after day after day, you'll start to feel like, man, you just have that fucking burst of energy, where you just feel better. You feel crisper. Your brain is much sharper. You're able to remember stuff, You don't have those moments where you're pausing to think of stuff. Like for my day job, I lead tours in New York City, right? So I walk people down Wall Street, I walk people around Chinatown, I walk people through Central Park. I go to all these places, and I've been doing this for fucking 4 or 5 years at this point. I know this job, I know the city like the back of my hand, and I've talked about every major landmark in the city. I mean, it's probably at the point where it's hundreds of times, and I'm always constantly learning. I know a lot about the city and a lot about stuff, but there'll be those times, dude, where I'll just, be off, and then I'll be talking about like the stock exchange, or I'll be talking about, One World Trade or something, and I'll just completely space out on like what I'm talking about, what the facts are. I'll be snapping my fingers. I'm like, what was the fucking guy's name? What was the year? And I'll just, I'll be doing like I'm doing now, where I'm talking, and then I'll just completely lose my place, and I'm like, what the hell was I talking about? And a little word on that too. Sometimes, like especially as a tour guide in New York, you're just dealing with a ton of elements that are impossible to beat, such as fucking horns, sirens, loud ass people, fucking people just walking up to your group and talking shit to you while you're doing a tour. All that stuff I encounter. But a lot of times it's more of the brain just not connecting to the information, and just completely spacing out, because I'm experiencing this inflammation, So it comes down to inflammation, and then so how do you fix inflammation, right? What do you do about inflammation? It's just this word you just hear over and over again, but like, what do you do? Well, you have to understand, and you have to respect the fact that there is a connection between your brain and your gut. The food that you eat will affect the way that you think. The gut is the second brain. This isn't a thing I'm making up. Please don't go around saying Eric Levi calls the brain a second gut, or the gut a C. There you go. The brain is a second gut. Man, you just eat enough good shit. Just fatten up your brain. Just be smarter, Just eat the good fats. You fatten up your brain, get more synapses, and then you fucking be able to do calculus. No, the gut is your second brain. So whatever goes into your gut is going to affect your brain. So if you're eating a lot of, processed garbage, yeah, your brain's going to, your gut's going to be like, this isn't what we like. It doesn't do a good job of breaking it all down, doesn't do a good job of completely digesting it and utilizing the nutrients in the food. You get a lot of this in like fucking processed deli meats, shit that you get out of a box, fucking Little Debbie's and Twinkies if it was 1985, whatever the snack foods are. Ganditos, I think they sell at my bodega over here. These little fucking sugary snacks, candy bars, ice cream. Dairy is a huge causer of inflammation. Milk, ice cream, cheese. You eat that stuff. I know the keto people love the cheese, but it ain't doing you any good. Grass-fed milk, raw dairy, not doing you any good. Your body is not built, dude. You're taking the food that was biologically made for a baby calf, and you're putting it in your gut, and you're expecting your body to know what to do with it. This causes inflammation, and then what happens? Your brain starts to suffer. You get the wrong proteins going up through your vagus nerve into your brain. You get the wrong chemicals in the fats and in the proteins and in the processing of the food that you're eating. A lot of these things too break the blood-brain barrier, which is supposed to protect your brain, and then blast off into your brain. This is actually the biggest cause of Alzheimer's, or at least science is slowly starting to unravel the mystery behind Alzheimer's, which is directly linked to diet, to high fructose corn syrup, to heavy meat and dairy consumption, to processed garbage, to MSG, to all the chemicals. When you turn over a box of food and then you see like that long list of, poly something and something acaride and something, all these just long named chemicals that are in your food, those don't just go in you and disappear. They go into your brain and get lodged there in your brain. And essentially when you go to sleep at night, you're supposed to be detoxifying all that stuff. But if you're sleep deprived, if you're not sleeping, a lot of this stuff does make you sleep deprived. A lot of inflammation will fuck with your circadian rhythm. If you fuck with your circadian rhythm, all these things play in to causing the inflammation that will cause brain fog, Depression too. Depression is also inflammation. Don't forget, 90%, I believe 90% of the serotonin that goes into your brain, serotonin is the happy chemical that your body is supposed to naturally make. That's made in your gut. 90% of it. It's made in your gut. And it's not made in your gut if your gut is too busy trying to fight with all the shit food that you put in it, So if you're not getting the serotonin into your brain, yeah, you're going to feel depressed. You're going to feel cloudy. You're going to feel like you got brain fog. And so, the only way to really beat brain fog, man, it's to fix your fucking diet, I mean, we talk a ton about diet. I talk a ton about diet and nutrition on here, but I mean, a lot of people use nutrition to justify it because I want to look better. People go on these crash fucking diets to get a six pack, and to shred up and to thin down and to all this stuff. But really, like, your clean diet should be about your mental state, That's why that's what interests me the most in like a holistic lifestyle, because it's not just about living right for to live longer or to live, with a better body or something. It's about fucking brain optimization. It's about how clearly you can think, it's amazing to me just in myself what I've experienced as far as like pre-holistic a-hole, post-holistic a-hole, cognitive function, you know? When I eat clean, I'm way more creative, you know? The muse hits me like fucking crazy, you know? I'm approaching 60 episodes of this Holistic A-Hole podcast, each one talking about a completely different thing. And it's not a struggle for me. It's not a struggle for me to come up with topics and stuff to talk about. Always trying to push the limits with what I can do, you know, writing all kinds of content, creating all kinds of content, and then just having shit to talk about, being able to remember stuff, you know, being interested in stuff. You know, this is all functions of your brain. And if you're suffering from inflammation and your brain is too busy, you know, not getting serotonin, dealing with depression, and anxiety. Let's not forget anxiety. Let's also not forget sleep problems. The wrong diet, inflammation causes sleep problems, man. It all works together. If you don't get the right sleep, then yeah, your brain's not going to work right. If you're dependent on caffeine, you know, more than a cup of coffee a day or green tea or whatever it is, I mean, yeah, your brain is not functioning properly. If you need all this stuff to get you going, you know, you should be able to just do it on your own. You shouldn't even need caffeine. I know people love caffeine. I've seen studies of both sides of caffeine. I love caffeine. I could actually probably use some caffeine right now. So I'm not just going to take caffeine and, you know, throw the baby out with the bathwater. But man, like I probably have a coffee a week or a coffee every 2 weeks, you know, just because I have so much energy, I don't even think about the need for coffee. My mind is in such a positive mindset most of the time that I don't think like, man, I got to get a coffee and just chill out. You know, I was able to quit drinking for the most part because I don't need fucking alcohol to feel better. The serotonin is pumping in my gut up into the vagus nerve, bursting through the blood-brain barrier and banging around in my brain and fucking wiping away any of the inflammation that would be causing brain fog. So really, if you want to fix your depression, if you want to fix your anxiety, if you just want to have, I mean, I hate to just make this, you know, just wide sweeping fucking broad brush stroke, but if you want to feel better and live a better life, get rid of your brain fog. It's going to help your depression. It's going to help your anxiety. It's going to go away. And it's going to make you way more productive. And it will change your life. It might change your life. It will change your life. If nothing else, if you can get off of your Prozac or whatever, you know, psychotropic drugs you might be on, just strictly through diet, there you go. You know, that shit is just wrecking people. These SSRIs and these antidepressants and these anti-anxiety medications, the focus drugs, the Ritalin, or they don't do Ritalin, Adderall, all this stuff, man, it's wrecking people's guts. People on these drugs have more fucking brain fog than anybody, you know? Find me a person who's, you know, fucking taking an Adderall every day or an Adderall every couple days or, you know, taking their fucking, you know, happy pills every day. Find me a person who doesn't also still experience those same symptoms, you know? But then you look at people who do eat clean, they don't need any of that shit. You know? Maybe a little weed here and there, but that's, you know, that's a different ballgame altogether. So, yeah, so you want to fix your brain fog. You want to get rid of your brain fog. You know, also don't stress out about vitamins and all this shit. People take omega-3 fish oil. It's such a scam, dude. I would not take any fish oil. I would not take any oil supplements. Get it the natural way. You know, as pro-vegan, anti-vegan as I am, if you can get it through fish, if you can get it through nuts and seeds, if you can get it the natural way, get all of your nutrition the natural way. That's what I say. So hopefully your brain fog didn't allow you to miss a single beat of this or any episode of the Holistic A-Hole podcast. If you're enjoying what you hear, here in the podcast, go to iTunes, leave the podcast a 5-star review, put a little fun note in there. You love it, you hate it. I'm an idiot, I'm a genius, I'm great, I'm sexy, I'm ugly, whatever it is, whatever you want to put on there. Leave a nice review. That's all I ask. And then find me on the socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and then YouTube, baby. Join on my YouTube page. Be a subscriber. That way you get notified every time a video comes out. And share the podcast with your friends and family. If anything trips you here, if anything catches your eye, if you have any ideas of things you want me to talk about, feel free to shoot me an email, holistic.a.hole@gmail.com, or just send me a message through the old Facebook, assuming Facebook's going to still be around, but who knows about that. So either way, just know from the bottom of my holistic heart, I love you a-holes. Thank you for listening, and I will catch you on the next Holistic A-Hole episode. Thank you. Peace.